that magical moment that, they've never seen anything like Jolly Holiday Lights.
Cars are lined up for as far as you can see, and they keep coming and coming and coming.
It's for children with life-threatening illnesses. That's the benefactor.
We knew that the kids were out there that were eligible for wishes, we just weren't reaching enough of them.
You have so many memories of wish children and wish children's families, and the smiles of the kids when they're receiving their wish.
Nobody's profiting from this. It's all 100% of the money goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
On behalf of the City of Des Moines and the Make-A-Wish Foundation, turn on the lights.
Hi, my name is Joe Bechen. This is my wife, Tammy. We're the ones that came up with the idea for Jolly Holiday Lights to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
I worked for an accounting firm, and there were 2 board members there. And I just thought it was a great organization. I wanted to be part of it, and so did Joe.
Once Tammy had told me about Make-A-Wish Foundation, they have what they call area committee meetings. They, being new volunteers, they emphasize that they don't go out and solicit money. They take everything by donation or fundraisers. And so they said, if you have any ideas for fundraising, let us know.
On a trip to do a wish, I believe it was down in Corridor, the 3 of us were in a car, and they began telling me about this light show that Hillcrest Family Services was doing up in Dubuque. And by the end of the night, I said, I don't see any reason why we don't do this. Let's just do it.
And so I literally, the next day, contacted the company up in Dubuque, and then I reached out afterwards, called the lighting company, spent 2 hours on the phone with John Brandano from Brandano Displays, and next thing you know, John's sending us stuff and comes to Des Moines. And so
Snowballed.
It snowballed fast.
It did.
Fast.
When they presented the idea to us 25, 26 years ago, we realized on the board at that time that we really needed a signature event to help get the name of Make-A-Wish out, because at that point, Make-A-Wish in Iowa was about 10 years old.
And so we had a statewide organization of tremendous volunteers in the larger communities doing wishes and doing their own fundraisers.
And at that time, our biggest fundraiser for Make-A-Wish were golf tournaments and dinner auctions, silent auctions. We probably were granting, 30 wishes, maybe a year in the entire state of Iowa. And just to get the name of Make-A-Wish out and who we are and what we do, a signature event would go a long ways.
But clearly, as we got into it, and the business sponsors that ended up leasing the displays saw the genius behind it, it was never a question of what was going to grow and become a signature event.
Literally an idea that kind of sprouted from something small and grew to be this huge, massive event and an incredible fundraiser for us.
It's one person's idea that a bunch of other volunteers, people who freely gave of their time, got behind.
I don't care how large or small the not-for-profit is, but it doesn't happen without volunteers.
And they got behind an event that was not just one day, but it was 20 plus days, and they worked hard at it. And when you look at the impact that has had year over year over year, I think it's fair to say that Make-A-Wish would not be what it is today without Jolly Holiday Lights.
One of the key pieces that helped us that first year was Continental Western Insurance had been doing a mini version of this out at their corporate office.
and they had it was a $50,000 a year annual for them to put those lights up for the community.
They were kind of looking for an exit strategy because my understanding was it was very labor intensive for them. They had a lot of small trees and they would hang these small lights.
And it was just out of the goodness of their heart to do that for the community. And so we approached them and asked them if they would be willing to turn off their lights and make a donation, be a title sponsor for Jolly Holiday Lights. And hence they were for the first 3 years.
One of the biggest difficulties they had in bringing this display to Waterworks Park was that there's no electricity here. So they had to bring it all in. And the people who got a sneak peek tonight say they're glad they went to the trouble.
And then thank goodness for the IBEW, they came in and donated all their time and helped pull all the wire and the electric power through the event.
Make-A-Wish Iowa, IBEW Local 347, they all kind of coordinated and we were able to get the Waterworks Park set up for the power distribution for the Christmas light program. And
in the beginning, I really didn't know too much about the event, just as you get to know the people that was helping out of the years that helped started this event. They were great people, and then you get to meet some of the kids that are actually getting wishes granted. You know, the struggles that these families go through and the kids go through. It's just kind of nice to be able to give something back.
The first year would have been an extreme challenge finding sponsors because they didn't know what you were talking about.
It was an idea.
We had the wishes, we had the stories to captivate the imagination of people who needed to fund it. It was usually a light bulb going off and saying, we got to be a part of that.
On average, it's $13,000 per wish to be granted for an Iowa Make-A-Wish child. And when you multiply that by 181 wishes granted throughout the year, you can do the math. That takes a lot of funding. It's events like this premier event with Jolly Holiday Lights. This is the fundraiser for them.
I mean, after that first year of success, we just built on it every year for many years.
Then once we got the event going, it's just a matter of, channeling all the cars. We didn't know what to expect. And, in that very first year, the most amazing thing happened, though, is we had so many cars that they were literally packed up from Waterworks Park all the way into downtown Des Moines. So, I mean, it was amazing how, the turnout for the event, and we were just overwhelmed.
I love Christmas, so it was neat.
I think it's gorgeous. I really think it's beautiful. I think they should have probably done this a long time ago.
September 3rd, I had my second heart transplant, and my wish was to go to Disney World in Orlando.
Be galas in the Quad Cities or Dubuque or Cedar Rapids, whether that's golf tournaments. It's all about fulfilling dreams of children who have been dealt one of life's worst blows. And that is they have a compromising disease that may cause loss of life.
I think I was in kind of denial at first because I was like, I'm just sick, I'll get better.
But it was in the hospital Taylor got some of the greatest news she would hear. Make-A-Wish was sending her and her family to Hawaii.
I was surprised and shocked.
It's a matter of, making a horrible situation, giving them something to look forward to.
You try to keep things as normal as you can, but, there comes a point where it's like, we can't do this anymore. This is what it is. Matthew was a very ornery boy. He was full of life, which got him through what he faced. And he was 3, almost 4, when he was diagnosed with spinal cord cancer. He went through surgery and they pretty much told us he may never walk again, but Matthew did. We knew when they did the surgery at first that they did not get it all. Well, when he turned 11, it came back and it grew with a vengeance.
Make-A-Wish approached us and asked us if we thought he should have a wish, and I remember my parents going back and forth like, no, he doesn't really need one, he's not that sick.
We need to save that for the kids that really need it. Matthew's okay and we can do things, and she says, no, Linda, this isn't for you, it's for him, and so we need to do this. Matthew loved his family so much, and he looked at us and said, Mom, I would wish for a trip, but I just don't feel good. And I go, Matthew, the wish isn't for us. You wish what you want to do. Well, one day we were watching something and the VCR started to squeal. And all of a sudden the light bulb went off in him. That we had this small TV, and he said, Mom, how about a TV and a VCR so I can record Winnie the Pooh for my cousin? Therefore, there we go. We had a big screen TV, a VCR, and then some sort of a video game system. And so we got video game system, and Tammy was just so wonderful. She came and picked up Jason.
When they delivered that wish to my brother, I just remember how impactful it was to him to be able to have that.
And so we didn't tell Matthew. It was a surprise, and oh my stars, that boy. It was an absolute wonderful thing to happen in a very kind of a scary part of your time, but it makes something happy in that you get to celebrate. So it was great.
He was so neat, and I remember riding in the car with he and his mom, the sponsor party, so nobody else had been through it, and just watching his awe as, you know, he saw the lights going over, deer jumping over the road.
Matthew was able to plug in the lights that year. He looked at us when we got home that night and he goes, I want to help with Jolly Holiday Lights somehow. And that was on, I believe that was on a Monday night before Jolly Holiday Lights, before Thanksgiving, and he died on the Monday morning after Thanksgiving. And so who was at our doorstep but Tammy Bechen with an ornament for us. We told her that we want to help because Matthew really wanted to do something.
The first year, Make-A-Wish called us and said they were short of people to help out. On Christmas Eve, they couldn't get any, and we thought, yeah, this will be a great thing we can go do for a Christmas present for Matthew.
And we opened presents, and we had gotten some for Matthew, and he had gotten some already for us. And so we're crying, and it's like, whose idea was it to go to do Make-A-Wish? But we wiped our tears and suited up.
We go over and help, and it was one of the most therapeutic things we ever did.
The best thing in the world that we ever did, and we did it for a lot of years.
They come down every year with cousins, and you know, now they have grandchildren, and they work a night.
And it was just something that was so therapeutic every year for us to do. It was like a Christmas present to Matthew that we could do.
It's kind of our present back to Noah, my son who passed away.
It's an honor just to pay back, and people have done so much for us and our family during Tyler's illness.
She loved to be involved with Make-A-Wish.
Even while she battled cancer, Kenzie spent year after year volunteering at Jolly Holiday Lights.
It's like a Christmas present we can give to my brother every year.
Merry Christmas. It's also a way for us to pay back and be able to help children who are now facing life-threatening illnesses.
Sheyla suffers from cystic fibrosis and wanted to become a superhero. That's when Make-A-Wish stepped in.
I guess I wanted to help people, like I wanted to help my mom, so I wanted to be like a superhero.
After a mischievous villain named Kilowatt turns off the city's power, it's nothing Sheyla can't handle.
Meet me at Jolly Holiday Lights.
No matter the venue, Sheyla ends up topping and catching the bad guy.
It was a little scary, but now that I captured him, I'm not scared anymore.
It's hard to just say like, oh, it was, you know, just a wish, because it's like so much more than that. It's like an experience that you can't like ever like have in your life ever again. It's really crazy to think about, you know, all these people that, you know, like don't know me or anything, but they still came together to try to, you know, make my wish feel as real as possible. Was really nice, and it's something, you know, you can't really forget when there's like so many people around, so many people trying to help. This place is so much more, you know, than just lights and, you know, Santa and all that stuff. It helps kids in more ways than just, you know, telling them, you know, presents and all that stuff, and like showing them flashy lights, giving more to the, you know, community, to people that really need it. So I can't say anything more than just like it's like so special to someone, or, you know, to more people than, you know, you could imagine.
Those wishes mean the world to you because it brings some happiness and some joy into a family household that is just hard.
It's very emotional to, you know, see the families, meet the families during the most difficult times of their lives, and realize that, you know, what they must deal with on a daily basis.
If you think you've had a bad day, just go out and meet a wish kid. And then after you meet that wish kid, you walk out of that visit, you got no problems.
Yeah.
Those kids, they've got a lot going on. They got big shoulders. They
Yeah.
really do. They really, really do. Sure. So yeah, that's what tears at you, and that's what really
drives you
to keep going and going, because you know what it's benefiting and who it's benefiting.
Last week, heavy rains flooded the annual light display at Waterworks Park. Submerged signs and washed out roads put an early stop to the Make-A-Wish fundraiser.
You wouldn't even think this would have happened. We were just getting into our busy part of the season.
When we got flooded out in year 20, we were, you know, we couldn't go back to the community and say, hey, you know, we got flooded out, you know, and do you want to keep sponsoring something that you may not get your sponsorship back out because we get flooded out or something like that. I remember going down there the day, and I had to be the guy that says, you know, after a week into it, I had to call KCCI and says, we're done. I mean, I'm literally walking in water up to my knees, unplugging, or, you know, taking stuff and pulling cords, and they said, we're done, we can't do it. And, you know, we had to do something. We just couldn't take that chance of being flooded out every year.
The night my wife decided that she wanted to take our young son to Jolly Holiday Lights, it was late in the evening. I said, you know, let's pack up, we'll do it tomorrow. Next morning, of course, we hear the news that Jolly Holiday Lights has been postponed or canceled for that year because of the flooding. Sort of in her statement of displeasure to me, asked me why I couldn't do anything about that. Why couldn't I fix this problem? Because it seemed so natural to her, a fit for Adventureland to be partners with.
And so we started looking around, and the folks out at Adventureland came to us, and they says, look, if you guys want to do it out here, we'll take care of everything.
From that point forward to contacting Make-A-Wish and Chris Vogasair at the time, Chris and I understood each other, very like-minded, like gold, and really wanted to move this event somewhere where it could have a sense of permanency. And that's really what Adventureland represented to Make-A-Wish.
And those people out at Adventureland really have come to the table and helped us out a lot. I mean, they've really stepped up at a time of need when we really didn't know what we were going to do. But we had to do something. We couldn't stay in the floodplain. It just wasn't an option.
As a full-line amusement park and resort, we have a standing staff year-round of really specialty folks, electricians and carpenters and whatnot, that are always here on property, so always available to be of assistance. That, and you know, we have the natural equipment like lifts and whatnot that are needed for the setup of this event, so it saves money for Make-A-Wish in the actual production of the event overall, and probably streamline some of the efforts that were needed to be made.
We ended up outsourcing the front gate to Adventureland and later to Keck because, you know, the volunteers were wonderful. So many of them had been doing it for so long, but we had to figure out a way to be more efficient, because if we back up to the interstate, Iowa State Patrol shuts us down, and then everybody's unhappy. That was a really hard decision to outsource the front gate, but it was something we had to be able to do to keep Jolly Holiday Lights going.
As far as our staff goes, our staff really always looks forward to this event, and our staff really has interacted as far as really helping set up that pathway in Jolly Holiday Lights, and how you navigate that many cars coming into your facility at one time. Even little things like how we renovated a couple spaces in our campground facility to accommodate Make-A-Wish.
I think it's critically important for people to volunteer and give all they can give, not only just to share the feeling of being involved in Make-A-Wish, because it is one of a kind, not-for-profit organization. But I believe that new volunteers bring new energy and new life, new ideas.
A lot of the work is hard work, and it's cold, and you're outside.
Unloading the semi-trucks full of displays, distributing them around the park, identifying which sequence we thought the displays would look best in, so picking a location for them, and then coordinating with volunteers to help assemble the display.
We would be down there, literally Friday afternoon from sunrise to sunset, Friday afternoon or Friday morning, sunrise to sunset, Saturday, Sunday, sunrise to sunset. So, you're working 30 hours just in 3 days.
I mean, normally when you're planning a gala or you're planning a golf tournament, right, you're working up to it, but that's a one-day event, and then you consider it a wrap. But like with Jolly Holiday Lights, you are working for a month, and you are out there, and it is cold, and it is, it is hard work, and it is really the event of all events, when it comes to not just time and investment, and the people that do it have a ton of heart.
Started off with just a night or two a week, and that was around 19 years ago. And now I am pretty much the full-time Santa at Jolly Holiday Lights. I do almost every night.
To think of an event and an idea like that, and then to have the Des Moines community come out year after year after year to support it and make it their family tradition, and to make it their family tradition to support kids who need something to look forward to in the holiday season, I think that just makes it come full circle.
That's what keeps it fresh. That's how new ideas get spawned. And it positions itself for the future for years to come.
Last year, this event raised enough money to grant 80 wishes. Like, that's 80 kiddos who are getting to do something magical.
And it's just a great remembering time for us. It's kind of a continued healing process when we go and look at it and remember Matt.
It feels like you're like lighting up because you get to see all these people, contributing to something that helps, multiple kids.
Every single one of those cars is part of a wish. Each one contributes to making one of these wishes happen. And to get to 80 wishes from one event is amazing.
And if you get a chance to meet or see videos, or you can go to the Make-A-Wish website or something like that, and actually see some of these kids and what they experience every day. That's why I would encourage everybody to go to see Jolly Holiday Lights. It really is, truthfully, makes magic happen.
The people that are willing to open up their hearts, and give, it is so touching to us.
So when you're driving through there, your heart should soar, because you're not only getting to see beautiful lights, but you also are helping a lot of kids and a lot of families that are struggling.
It's not about people doing extra things. It's about regular people doing the small things and coming together to make this event all it can possibly be.
It's kind of our present back to Noah, my son who passed away.
It's like a Christmas present we can give to my brother every year.
It's also a way for us to pay back and be able to help children who are now facing life-threatening illnesses. He made his wish 15 years ago, went to Disney World.
Matt received a wish through Make-A-Wish, and it's just such a great organization. All the volunteers that are involved have always gone above and beyond to help the kids out and help us out, and so we wanted to give back, and it's just such a fun thing we can do year after year.
Knowing they couldn't go far, and knowing they won't all be home for Christmas, the destination was an easy choice.
Let's go!
Wedged between his mother and doctor, Tanner and his family got to drive through Jolly Holiday Lights at Waterworks Park. escorted by an ambulance manned by 2 critical care paramedics, just in case.
There it goes. Yay, he made it again.
Oh, you got it. Good job.
A perfect prescription for this young boy and his family.
Kind of devastating when you can't have the whole family together, and to be able to do something like this means a lot. You can't say thank you enough.